Hey YouTube, as the title and thumbnail says, I did hit leaderboard. I got up to 3182. Didn't take a screenshot of that one, but I was at 3182 in the catch cup, and then I dropped significantly because the team is actually not good. I did manage to go. I got to 3168 with my last Jungle Cup team or whatever the season was, and then I got 3182 with this team in a few sets, and then this team just kind of fell apart. So I'm not gonna go over the battles too much. I do want to talk about the rep of the season, because how do I go from you know, struggling last season. Just I got to 29.92, 94, and I just missed last season. And then this season, I had to go until Monday, 1 week ago, to hit legend, and then I hit leaderboard. So how do I do that? What were the strengths and weaknesses of the season? My thoughts on the seasons overall, and as we go forward to next season, what are my sort of thoughts and goals and stuff? Okay, so I hit legend. For those of you who are newer, I hit legend 14 seasons in a row. And then I missed legend once. I got it back twice in a row. And then I missed legend again. How many times have I missed legend now? Was it just two, or was there a third in there? Either way, there was like two, maybe three times that I missed legend in the past like 5 or 6 seasons, after hitting like 14 straight. So this one managed to clutch it out. What was the difference between this season? One, why does it take me so long? Two, what was the reason this season that I hit legend, and why did I actually run to 3182? The reason that I didn't hit legend in not even 2 seasons ago, but like three, not last season, sorry, not last season, but the ones I didn't hit like 3 to 5 ago that I didn't hit there, is because I could not get a group and I could not get a handle on the meta. I've said multiple times in the last maybe over the last week here, I'm an A plus. I'm A plus meta analyzer and team creator, and a B minus battler, right? So I've always been good at finding a fantastic team to run and doing great with the team, like 400, 450 elo with the team, understanding the meta, understanding what's overrated, underrated, and that's why you should check out the video this afternoon. I can do a bit of that and explaining why some of these buffs have happened even though they did not get buffed. Plus, I already did sort of an overrated, overranked, underranked based on the rankings earlier, because that's where I've always had that strength. I've always been great at analyzing that. And then I've never been an amazing battler. I'm good. I know the basics of everything. I don't do the basics of everything. I often do not count. I do not fast. I'm mostly doing fast move optimization, but not always. Definitely don't know how much energy my opponent has most of the time. Making the right reads most of the time. So again, B minus battler in general. But I can get away with it when I understood the meta. For some reason, 5 seasons ago, whenever I didn't hit legend there, I could not get a handle on the meta. It was so complicated, and I explained it as the meta was almost too wide, and it felt that way. It felt like RPS at times, because for those of you again who have been playing since the beginning, for the first 15, 16 seasons, there was always a meta of like 6, 7 Pokemon. In like the first 2, 3, 4 seasons, it was Swampert, Umbreon, Azumarill, Skarmory, Sableye. You had some like Shiftry in there, so that was like earlies. And then you got into your Registeel, Trevenant, Walrein, and then you got into Lantern and Noctowl, and then you got into Medi. And so you've always had these like 3 or 4 Pokemon that were on like 60% of the teams, with like a third, basically. And so it's very easy to like understand the meta, read the meta. You kind of like, and when Medi was so dominant, 80% of the teams had Medi on it, so you can like have one on your team and like build against it and stuff like that. So it was just very easy to team build. And then as they've expanded, like a couple seasons in a row, they just started buffing everything, right? They buffed Poison, and they buffed Steel, and they buffed Bug, and they buffed Psychic, and they buffed like 8 or 9 typings, which was useful. But the problem with that is it made 90, 95 Pokemon useful. Like you could use 3 Pokemon ranked in like the 80 to 100 range and still put up wins. And when you make a meta that wide open, it really like limits your ability to team build because you can't build for everything. So you can try to team build for like the top 20 to 30 at the time. But even in doing so, you still leave yourself super vulnerable to like 50 Pokemon. And that's what I was just like, I couldn't team build. And I don't think I was good enough battler to outperform not team building well. And so that was the seasons that like I did not hit legend by like hundreds of ELO. Like I got to like 2870 and didn't even get higher than that. Last season when I didn't hit legend, I got to 2996. And it was, I found the meta and I found the team. Last season, I found a team that got me from like 2,500 to 2,992. Like I found a team that got me 492 ELO. But there's 2 things that I think really killed me last season. The 1-turn lag was an absolute killer for me. And I'm running Google Pixel, and Android just sucks with this game. iPhones seem to have an advantage. Google Androids are not great for this game. So when you got the 1-turn lag, I got like 1-turn lag constantly. And that really affected my gameplay, even more so than it already had in the past. So that killed me. But the biggest issue was I have a worse win percentage this season than I did last season. I had like a 55 win percentage last season. And I have like a 52% win rate this season. And I had leaderboard with this season, and I didn't even get legend last season. And the biggest reason was my consistency has always been bad. I'm always the most inconsistent battler in the game. I just, as you saw, that matchup that I just won, my opponent had to play Pokemon Champion. Like I can play Pokemon Champions. I know. And when I'm on and facing the best of the best, I can beat the best. There are also days where I will go against a 2200 ELO player who's barely played, and I will lose to them because I just am so bad with my consistency. And when I'm bad, I'm really bad. So what happened was my consistency, I did what you can't do last season. And it comes down to the ELO system. I know a lot of people hate the ELO system, and that's something that maybe this game needs to get a hold on eventually is the rating system. So, in general, if you go 5-0, you get about 70, 75 ELO. If you go 4-1, you get about 40 ELO. If you go 3-2, you get about 10 to 12. And same thing on the other end. If you go 2-3, you get about minus 12, 1-4, minus 40, 0-5, like minus 70, minus 75. So the problem, if you can just do the basic simple math, is you need to maximize your 5-0s and 4-1s and minimize the other way. But what happened last season was I was doing the exact opposite. I would go 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 1-4. So if you do the math, it's like plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, minus 40. So even though I went positive 4 sets, negative 1 set, I would get like 0 ELO. And same thing, I go like 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 4-1, 0-5. And it's the same thing. You're just like, I'm going positive like 4 or 5 sets, but like breaking even or going negative ELO. And then when you do have like bad sets, like go like 2-3 or 1-4 in your sets, like negatives, you just like start tail spinning, right? So that was the problem last season. This season was the exact opposite. I minimized those. I very, very, very rarely went 0-5, and even 1-4s I minimized. A lot of my negatives were 2-3s. So I would go the exact opposite this time. I would go like 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, 4-1, 5-0. Like, so I would have more negative sets, but I would gain like 80 ELO, 100 ELO in a day because I would just maximize the top end there. I think the reason is because I understood the meta more. I felt like the meta shrinked a lot this season. It was very obvious. Although you could play with Pokemon in the 80s and 90s, there wasn't the need to build. You didn't have to worry about Pokemon in the 80s, 90s coming up because, I'll go over the top 20 Pokemon and they will be on 60% of teams. Corsola, Credilli, Gastrodon, Azumarill, Marowak, Stunfisk, Dusclops, Bastiodon, Dusknoir, Altaria, Corviknight, Goodra, Airquidin, not so much. Bellybolt, not so much. Annihilate, Empoleon, Wigglytuff, Clodsire, Dedenne. Right? That was the meta. You could ballpark that 60% of those Pokemon. You'll see like 60 to 80% of those Pokemon in a set of 5. Which made it much easier to team build. So I found a Great League team that got me from 2500 to 2996, and then I dropped a bunch, and then I dropped a ton. I was down to like 2700 or something, and then I ran to 3168 with that last Jungle Cup team. I think it was last rotation. So it was a much easier meta to understand, and when you understand it and can just like find a team that works and then just grind that team for multiple days, you put yourself in a very good situation. And that's what happened. I found a team. I found multiple teams that worked, grinded them like crazy, and pushed to leaderboard while minimizing my sort of bad and, playing, I think, well in some of these like 3100 elo matchups. I kind of like the meta this season. For next season, I'm gonna do a full preview this afternoon, so go check that out. It's more of like just kind of like, here's what the meta is going to be, and here's why some Pokemon are higher in the rankings than they were last season, even though they didn't get buffed. And I already talked about the buffs. You want to see the buffs, go look at this video, sort of thing. So am I happy with this season? Yes. I didn't finish on the leaderboard, but I don't have a catch cup team. I should have played Ultra League. I realized that too late. I just tried to push this team. Like, I did fine the first day, but then I did like tons of 1.4s and 0.5s with this. I'm down at like 2700 or something right now. I was maybe I should have played Ultra League. I just had not played it at all this season, pretty much, so I didn't think about playing it until it was too late. I just played like a team that doesn't really make sense, and I don't like the Pokemon. Like, the IVs are bad on Weezing and Blastoise, and I don't like Spidops at all. So I just don't think it worked out. Maybe I should have tried. But you know what? Hitting Legend, getting on the leaderboard the last week, understanding the meta, I think overall is a positive week, positive season. You had some issues this season. The one-turn lag, a little bit, but nowhere near last season's issues. The biggest issues, I just had straight-up freezes. I lost minimum somewhere between 20 and 30 games where my game just like completely froze, that you have to basically reset your game, and when as soon as you reset your game, you lose that matchup. So 20 to 30 games that happened like that. Towards the end here, I did get 1 week left, so it doesn't matter. I was already at Legend, so I didn't care too much, but I did get it may as well have been a full freeze, but it was one where my opponent would get like 7 2-turn fast moves through before my game like got me back in the matchup. So bugs are there, which is why we are getting an interlude season. It is 3 months. Although they say the rankings are be the same, that should not be true. We know we're getting the Pika Libres at rank 20. And it's pretty much well known that they're going to be working on the code behind the scene to try to fix that, fix the bugs. So what is my goal for next season? You'll notice that I've been taking it easy the last like couple weeks. Just these kids are still sick. Hopefully they're back at school today. They were home again last week. Just son had like a cough that sounded like a croupy bronchitis type cough. Both of them are sniffling like crazy today. Something's going on. Like, kids always get sick. If anyone has kids this age, 6 and 4, they know, like, it's just that's how they build their immune system. They get the sickness and they build their immune system. Something's going on in Ottawa, or there's just like a brutal virus going around this year, because it wasn't only at my kid's school. There's a teacher who lives on my street at a different school who said that like 2 weeks ago, 25% of the school was absent. There's just like every like family I talk to, there's just like, oh yeah, my kids are sick for like the last 2 weeks now. It's just something's hurting right now. So I've been limiting that. And then on the other end, like I kind of mentioned, wife is back at work. She's been at work for 2 months now. We got that second paycheck coming in, and it's a significant difference that this no longer is like a sort of reliance for income for me. And then we hit the interlude season. And I'll take my cues. I think part of me is just going to take my cues from you guys. You could theoretically grind and get your Pika Libre, especially with a Go Battle week during the first week, which is crazy. Someone rightly pointed out a Go Battle week during the first week is not as fun for Dust. It's not. But also just keep in mind that if they truly don't have all the ranking, all like the ace, legend, veteran, expert rankings, your Dust is going to be limited to what rank 20 Dust is. So even when you're 2 months into this, and even if you played every single set every single day, you're still going to be ranked 20 and stuck with that rank 20 Dust. That's at least what it was during the other interlude seasons. I would assume it's the same this time as well. So people could theoretically have their like Pika Libre within the first week if they grind the Go Battle week during the first week. The schedule is not bad. The schedule has a great league option every single week for 3 months. There's no catch cup to end the season. But there is no need to grind, right? We're probably not going to get any ranking above rank 20. Everyone's going to have their Pika Libre pretty early. It's Christmas in less than a month. So towards the end of December, it's going to be pretty chill. Like people are beyond vacation. So probably going to take some not push out videos there. So yeah, I don't know. I am still completely undecided what I want to do next season for this channel. I would not be surprised if I pump out 2 videos a day just for the first week for Beyond the Hype. Looking at the rankings for next season about buff Pokemon, Celio's at 7 and 9. I definitely want to try Celio. I won't have an Edgy Slash, but I am interested in trying a Doublade, which is number 32. So I'll try that. I'll play like Sableye to tell you how it feels better with the foul play. Maybe something like Spiritomb for the Shadow Ball buff. Maybe Regidrago with Vice Grip. I'm trying to see if there's like any other Pokemon. The problem is not a lot of Pokemon. Oh, for sure. Blaziken. I'm trying to think about like Pokemon that got like new moves. The problem is a lot of these Pokemon didn't get a ton of new moves. It was just like slight adjustments on the edges of like Powder Snow got buffed, Foul Play got buffed. So it's like Pokemon that are already still good became like slightly better. So I think the Beyond the Hype is going to be limited to like Hydreigon with Fly could be interesting. Like I think there's like maybe 3 or 4 Pokemon that actually got like real buffs and moves, like new moves that are going to make it interesting. But the rest of these are just like kind of tweaks on the edges. So I'll probably do a lot of the Beyond the Hype with these Pokemon just early, just to be like how they feel. Outside of that, I guess I should put this in the title. I'll do like a bonus Beyond the Hype here. I used Not Good IVs, Shadow, Toucan in there. Holy crap, this thing is glassy. I should not be surprised. You know what? My IVs were bad to start with, but it has like a 96 defense, 123 stamina, and when you add the Shadow, which mine is, that 96 defense down 20% is like a 76 defense, which means you truly can't take anything. Like fast moves put you down to like the yellow. But I had a Dunsparce come in. I was already pretty loaded. I had a Dunsparce come in. I did 1 peck followed by the Beak Blast, and it put it within like 2 pecks away from being taken out. And when I saw Beak Blast and I saw 100% -1 attack, I didn't even read opponent because I'm like, oh yeah, a 2.88 nuke that does 158 damage. Of course it's going to lower your attack. It lowers your freaking opponent's attack. What a move this Beak Blast is. You can get by just going straight drill peck. Like I was in a bunch of matchups where if your opponent's slow coming in, like you're going to kill them. getting like 1 or 2 peck advantages. I mentioned that I don't think this is going to be a good safe swap, and someone's like, hey, like if you put it with, because if you look at the one shield, it is a 29-22 with a 517 average. But if you start adding, like, if you give yourself 1 peck advantage, 29-22 becomes 34-17. And if you give yourself a 2 peck advantage, that becomes 42-9. But, so this is where I will preface this. The reason that I say it's not a good safe swap is, yes, 42-9 is ridiculous. 639 average is ridiculous. But with a 2 peck advantage, you still have basically 4 losses at 200 and lower. Morpeko, Celio, Bastion, Stunfisk. Basically saying, like, you can give yourself a full freaking drill peck advantage, and you're still going to, your opponent's going to come out with, like, is going to kill you and come out with like 100 energy. Like, so this is why I say I'm weary as a safe swap. But if your opponent does not have one of these like electric, steel, ice type Pokemon, this thing is going to cause a ton of problems. So definitely a fun Pokemon. 1,000,000% needs shields. 1,000,000% needs shields. Like, cannot take anything. I was playing in a matchup where I was like shields down and just like one fast move and 1 charge move takes you out. So just be aware that if you're going to use that, you need shields with it. But it's a fun Pokemon and can cause a lot of problems. I use the Shadow version. So next season, as I see that we're at the end of time here, you know, beyond the hype early with these Pokemon, I think my main goal is going to be try not to go crazy with building Pokemon up. Like, I'll build up the Doublade, but outside of that, maybe the if I had Hydreigon there. Outside of that, I already have Celio built up. I think I have the Shadow and non-Shadow already built up. I have a Blaziken built up. So there's not really many new Pokemon on this list that I will have to build up. I think my goal this season is just to collect dust, and I think that should be your goal too, quite honestly. This is a season that you will hit Legend no matter what, like hit your rank 20 no matter what, get your Pika Libre no matter what. You do not need to worry about building a Pokemon to try to fight the right meta and understanding everything. Just use what you have and just collect dust. That would be my guess, which is why you can also just like continue to play. Like, getting rank 20 and then still going like 1-4 every day is gonna add you a lot of dust on your account. So I think that's gonna be my goal. I'm gonna pump up videos looking at the weeks. You know, I can definitely, it's not a question, I'm just definitely gonna take some time. You know, I'm headed to Hamilton to see my family from the 26th of December to like the 2nd. So I can see myself going to like 1 a day there, if that. You know, some of these, even like the 1st and 2nd week of January, we have an Ultra League and a Sunshine Cup, and then a Master League and a Retro Cup, and some of these are like bad cups. So I can see myself just limiting myself there. Still very undecided. I said if I didn't hit Legend, I wasn't going to go to the Toronto. I did hit Legend. I hit Leaderboard. Should I go to the Toronto Regional? It's mid-January. Still on the fence about that. That'll be maybe a game time decision there. But otherwise, that is my thoughts for next season. You know, the other option is to do other things with the channel. You know, other content creator collabs, a tournament with subscribers. So there could be a variety of things that I do with the channel. I would appreciate your views. Like, what do you want to see next season? What are your plans for next season, and what do you want to see next season? Those are going to be my 2 questions. So if you want to drop those in the comments below, I greatly appreciate it. Anyway, stay tuned this afternoon. We're going to kind of go over next season, final look at it. And with that, I'll say thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.